Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm the Game Master, your host. And today we're going to be talking about Carol Danvers, Mar-Vell, the Kree, all sorts of stuff. Also, I recently received some requests from a few listeners that are curious about the game mechanics. So in some of the videos I do, it's like 100% story and 0% game mechanics. Sometimes it's kind of 100% game mechanics and 0% story. This one's maybe a little half and half, I would say, but I wanted to let people know so that if you're not into the game mechanic thing, this one might not be for you because I'm actually going to show what each player rolled and stuff like that. So if you want to learn how to play DC Heroes, this one is useful for that. Um, if not, hopefully you still enjoy the story, but I just wanted to kind of put all my cards on the table at the very beginning. At any rate, so before we get into the video itself, make sure you smash that like button. Check to see if you're still subscribed because YouTube loves to unsubscribe people. Ring the bell so you know when we upload more stuff, and leave us a comment, partially because it's good for the YouTube algorithm, but also because we just love hearing from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for listening. With all that said, let's dive in. Prologue to this one takes place in December of 1967. The Kree drop off Mar-Vell on Earth with the mission to destroy the world because humanity supposedly destroyed a large robot called a Kree sentry. But the captain of the Kree ship is secretly in love with Mar-Vell's girlfriend, Una. So once Mar-Vell is on the ground, the captain opens fire on him using the starship's weapons. But an airplane flies between the two, and it's the plane that crashes as Mar-Vell takes cover. So having failed to terminate Mar-Vell, the Kree ship then departs. Mar-Vell searches the wreckage and finds one occupant who did not make it. So Mar-Vell then assumes the man's identity, going by the human name of Walter Lawson. Which brings us to the main plot, which takes place at Cape Canaveral in 1968. The man they call Walter Lawson has been working at NASA for months now, and one day his supervisor takes him aside. Inwardly, Mar-Vell wonders if he's been found out, but as it turns out, it's quite the opposite. He's earned enough trust that NASA finally takes him to the secret hangar that contains the missing Kree Sentry robot. When Mar-Vell walks in, he's greeted by a beautiful woman named Carol Danvers, who's pictured here. No sooner than Carol greets Mar-Vell, the Kree Sentry robot is reactivated, and once again, Mar-Vell's life is in danger. So we roll initiative, and Mar-Vell is faster. So Mar-Vell shoots an energy blast at the Kree Sentry. According to TSR's Mar-Vel Superheroes RPG, Mar-Vell's energy blast is what they call remarkable, which in the DC Heroes RPG, which is what I usually play, when you translate it from one system to the other, that is 6 APs, which is not a very high score. So already Mar-Vell is kind of in trouble. The Kree Sentry has excellent agility in the Marvel system, and that translates to a dexterity of 6 in the DC system. So thankfully, Mar-Vell has a 50-50 chance of hitting his opponent. He only needs to roll an 11 or better on two 10-sided dice, or 2d10, as we call it. He rolls a 7 and an 8 for a total of 15. So he hits. And because he rolled over what he needed, he has earned what we call 2 column shifts. So to calculate damage, we now compare his energy blast of 6 versus the Sentry's body of 12. And unfortunately, Mar-Vell needed one more column shift before he would even start to hurt the sentry. So rather than attack again, Mar-Vell yells at Carol Danvers to run for safety because she doesn't have any powers yet. Then Mar-Vell moves behind a nearby crate in the NASA hangar, trying to take cover. So on the sentry's turn, it moves around the crate. So now there's nothing in between them. And then it punches Mar-Vell. So for that, the robot's excellent agility in the Mar-Vel system translates to a dexterity of 6 in the DC system. And we compare that to Mar-Vell's remarkable agility, which in DC is a 7. Since Mar-Vell is more agile than his executioner, that means the robot needs to roll a 13 or better to hit. It rolls a 1 and a 7, so it misses. Mar-Vell goes, shooting another energy blast at the sentry. He rolls a 5 and a 4 this time, so he does no damage to the robot's blue and purple metallic armor. Since Carol Danvers ran to safety, she didn't leave Cape Canaveral. She's just out of harm's way is all. And because Mar-Vell doesn't have anything else to do this turn, he substitutes his remaining 2 automatic actions for 1 dice action. So he gets to attack the sentry again. This time he rolls a 9 and a 1. So unfortunately, that means that once again, he does not hurt the attacker. The sentry punches, rolling a 6 and a 9, which misses, then punches again, rolling a 7 and an 8, which is a hit. To calculate damage, we then compare the robot's monstrous strength in Mar-Vel, which translates to a strength of 12 in DC Heroes, versus Mar-Vell's remarkable body, which is a 6 in the DC system. Mar-Vell also has skin armor of 6, which is a power, and that adds 6 points to how well he can resist damage. But it does not add to his hit points. If anybody needs me to explain that more, let me know in the comments section. Anyways, so skin armor of 6 plus body of 6 means that he has a 12 in terms of damage resistance. So it's the attacker's 12 versus the hero's 12. Normally, he would do 3 points of damage. But because he got an extra column shift from rolling high, his damage is bumped up now to 4. So we subtract that 4 from the body of 6, because again, skin armor doesn't add to your hit points. So Mar-Vell's hit points drop from 6 to 2. So he's hurting, right? And that was from just 1 punch. Mar-Vell fires back, rolling a 5 and a 9 for a total of 14, earning 1 column shift, which sadly still isn't enough to hurt the Kree sentry. Mar-Vell fires a second energy blast, this time rolling a 10 and a 6, which is 2 column shifts, which still isn't enough. Mar-Vell needs to roll an 18 or better, and he's just not getting it so far. The sentry punches, rolling double 3s, which is the DC Heroes version of a critical success. As long as it's not double 1s, anytime you roll doubles, you keep that sum, then roll again, adding the previous sum to your new roll. So the sentry rolls again and gets a 4 and a 5, which is 9, plus that 6 from earlier brings us up to a grand total of 15, which is 2 column shifts. So the robot does 6 more points of damage, and Mar-Vell's body is reduced to -4. So he's knocked out and can no longer take any actions. Which brings us to the epilogue. Carol Danvers screams from where she's at as the sentry knocks out Mar-Vell. It turns, it sees where she had ran to, it scans her, and the Sentry uses its detect power and discovers that Carol is not fully human, which even she doesn't know at this point. So the alien robot trudges towards her, and its plan is to kill her because she's awake. So it sees her as more of a threat than Mar-Vell. Then once she's dead, it will go back and kill him too and eliminate all the threats in the area then. But its plans get cut short when Billy Batson drops in. Billy is about 40 years old now, by the way, so he's just going by Bill. And just like in the Kingdom Come comic book series, he and his alter ego are now identical. Anyway, so the original Captain Marvel, aka Bill Batson, punches the Sentry, and Bill's strength of 40 then we check that on our table versus the Kree Sentry robot's body of 12. So Bill rolls an 8 and a 3 for a total of 11, doing a total of 27 points of damage, taking the robot's body down from 12 to -15, which destroys it before it can hurt Carol or finish off Mar-Vell. Bill flies Mar-Vell to Paradise Island, where the purple ray is used to heal him. Carol Danvers meets Wonder Woman, and Carol decides to stay here for a little while and come to terms with all the crazy stuff that happened to her in this adventure. And that was it for this game session. I feel kind of bad in a way for bringing in the Shazam family to save the day because, on the one hand, Mar-Vell lost fair and square, and I could have let the robot just finish him off. On the other hand, I've always liked classic Mar-Vell, and I have always also liked the idea of DC's Captain Marvel meeting Marvel's Captain Marvel. But for my players, some of them see this as a sort of favoritism, because when they create an original character, I don't usually have someone literally swoop in and save them. I usually just let the game run its course, right? Let the cards fall where they may. After all, if nobody ever dies, or in other words, if a game has no consequences, then why bother playing? The danger is what makes gaming fun, because then you can overcome it and you have some sense of accomplishment. So honestly, I kind of ruined that for my players in this one. So I'm curious how you, the listener, would have handled this. Would you have bailed out Mar-Vell? Would you have let him die? Let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, smash that like button, check to see if you're still subscribed, and ring the bell so you know when we upload more stuff. From all of us here at the longest running superhero role-playing game on Earth, we hope you guys have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.